Got my body mounts in. I'll show you from underneath if I can get in there. Whoops. There's one. I cut the rubber and put it in. Anyway, it has like a 3/4 inch hole up the center. And that's, I put a metal sleeve up it for it to tighten on. Took a while to find the bolts, the washers. It's amazing. Washers are either too thin, too thick, too small, or have way too small a hole or way too big a hole. But anyway, yeah. This side was a little hard. The exhaust is in the way. Oh, I don't know if I can get the camera up there. There it is. But anyway, it worked nice and tight. And I put a little bit of lube on it to make it slide in a little bit easier, because I put them in quite tight. Yeah, but anyway, that turned out good. I had to weld a little more on top of the edge right here to make it sort of match this side, because that side sunk in a little bit right on the edge. So I ran the torch across it and this little thing here for the wire to go back on, that was broke off. But anyway, that turned out nice. So over here, my wheel bearing situation. Anyway, this had a P marked on it for passenger side, and this edge is wore. And here we have the story. This right here is where a bearing, the inner bearing, spun on the shaft and took about 30, almost 1/16 of an inch off it, because that ridge right there is not supposed to be there. That's supposed to be level right to the spline. Matter of fact, it's supposed to be a little bit higher than the spline, just a smidgen higher, and mine's a fair amount lower. So anyway, what they did, that's an old bearing, or maybe it's a new bearing, I don't know. But anyway, what they did, I believe at the junkyard, to sell this for big bucks, they put a new bearing in it and put it back on the no good shaft, and just tightened it up, because this nut was on it tight and crimped in real tight, and even painted yellow. But this bearing feels like brand new. And the rock was back and forth and up and down because the shaft was gone, and only just took a few miles for it to work loose, because basically under no load, sitting on the bench, it felt perfect because they had the bearing tightened against the sleeve. Oh, the sleeve's still up at my friend's house. Or the sleeve's in there. Oh no, the sleeve's still inside there. But anyway, they had the two bearings tightened up against the sleeve, and that's what held the bearing square. And then once it got running, of course, it needs the shaft, not the sleeve, and the shaft wore out. So anyway, this thing, brand new, is somewhere around $2,500 at least, maybe closer to $3,000. And this needs to be machined. So anyway, I spent the money and I bought new bearings and the tool for taking it apart for nothing, because basically I looked on the computer and I bought last night the entire assembly with a warranty, with a 30-day warranty, if I'm not impressed. But I bought a used assembly for less than half as much money as as the center shaft. So, meow. So even if the used unit I buy down the road, the bearings wear, I have new bearings for it, as long as I catch them before they grind in and seize up and take out the shaft. But this one, that inner bearing is like new, and there's no metal filings in here. So this was seized up, a bearing was seized up, and it took out the shaft, and they took it apart, put a new bearing in it, and put it back together and sold it as a good unit, because this car was smashed twice. It was previously smashed, and then it was smashed again, and then I bought it. So on the first crash, I believe it got hit, because the car only has 60,000 miles on it. So, and no rust. So the other three wheels are like new. So anyway, that's the reason why that wheel bearing went bad, because the shaft was no good. It never should have been put on the car. But anyway, I bought a whole unit. It'll be here in another couple weeks, and then I'll be able to put it back together. So anyway, I'm kind of happy about that. Well, I'm not happy about having to spend, $1,000 or $2,000, but it's better than $3,000. And you can't buy you can't buy a used spindle. That is out of the question. If anybody has a used spindle, they're going to have the knuckle as well. Like they wouldn't separate those two pieces. Like the person selling, like the one I'm buying for this, it's a unit, and they don't have axles for sale, because this is the part that goes, not that. Like this part, unless it's in an accident, that part would last a million years. It's this part that gets burnt when the bearing goes. So a person would never find a used one. But I got the whole unit used. So, and these hubcaps, I'm jumping around because I'm just I haven't done anything for a couple days. But anyway, I've been kind of busy today. But you see that dent there, and there? Well, that is to go on these not Oldsmobile wheels with the bump right there. So only one of my hubcaps has those dents, which I'm going to try to take out. But the other 4 hubcaps don't have that dent. But I have an idea, when I put them on those wheels, that those are dented out for a reason. And that's to miss that rim, because it hits that bump. So I'm going to have to take the tires off, grind those bumps off, and weld them up. I have tubes in these tires. And these are my original front wheels. I welded them up. There was holes rusted right through them. And I welded them up. And I put a tube in it. And there's my original wheel. And you can see there's no bumps, and they're very flat, and the hubcap goes right in there. So I have an idea. It'll miss this bump, but it hits those. So I'll have to take tires off and grind those bumps off before I dent my hubcaps. But anyway, that at least only one hubcap got the dents. But it did educate me to the point where they won't go on those rims without some work. So anyway, I'll let you guys go and see you in a little bit. Meow. That would smell some good. That's one thing about having, I'm going to have to get some more of that. That really smells nice. Anyway, goodbye, or see you later.